it's imperative that executives of companies understand the risks involved in hazardous materials transportation. Harry Truman had on his desk that little placard that said the buck stops here. Well, just like Harry Truman, all CEOs are where the ultimate decisions, the ultimate culture, and the ultimate liability lands. And so with the proliferation of lithium batteries and other consumer type products coming out of corporations around the world, there's a lot of companies that don't realize that they transport dangerous goods or hazardous materials, which are synonymous, but they actually do. And so the compliance of the hazardous materials regs really is a cultural issue. And the person who's responsible for the culture of your company is the CEO. And so what is the CEO doing to ensure that their company has a compliance program, understands what type of hazardous materials that they're transporting, are providing training to all their employees to make sure that the transport of that hazardous material is happening correctly and compliantly. Companies around the world have to make sure that not only do they have a compliance program, but that their individual employees are trained. And they have to ensure that the products that they're shipping are done in compliance with the regulations at a bare minimum. That's the bare minimum, is compliance with the regulations. And so what we see and what we help companies with a lot is understanding, all right, what's your overall risk? Are you following the regulations? Are you going above and beyond? Do you have a program that will say, okay, what's my plan? How do I do it? Is my plan working? And then do I need to change my plan? So that plan, do, check, act type safety management system that companies need. We've done a lot of expert witness testimony when things go wrong. And I'll tell you that almost every time there was a cultural breakdown on whether or not somebody knew what they were supposed to be doing, or there was complacency. So it wasn't stressed enough that the work that person was doing, and it always comes down to a person, that work that person was doing was getting so normalized, and it was something that they did every day, and there wasn't enough discussion that you are dealing with a hazardous material. And then something went terribly wrong, whether they were filling a chemical into the wrong storage bin, or they did not follow the regulations on putting lithium batteries on an aircraft. There's little things that broke down along the way that a company's culture, if you have a strong compliance culture and a strong compliance program, then that's going to intervene. What are the metrics that CEOs are putting upon their employees to ensure that they're following the regulations, that they have a strong compliance program? Because ultimately what it comes down to is not only can the U.S. Department of Transportation and the FAA come down with civil penalties and if you're doing it intentionally, criminal penalties, but it's the legal liability. And so I have seen in some of these expert witness cases that if your company is not following the regulations, then it's really difficult to say that you are not legally liable for when something went wrong, even the small parts of the regulations. Attorneys are really good about saying, hey, listen, if they're not following this regulation, how could they be good at ensuring that their people are safe, or that the general public is safe, if they can't even follow this little piece of the regulation? And so CEOs, although they are beholden to shareholders and they are constantly looking at revenue and profit and growth, you have to take the time to say, what are my risks? What are my risks in legal liability, in safety? And that's where the Hazmat safety program comes into play. It's not something that CEOs who are visionaries like to talk to all that often, but if they're not considering it, then there is a risk out there that could undermine what they're trying to do as a CEO, as a visionary leader. If you're not watching for those unseen risks and you're not addressing those, then you could open yourself up to personal and, of course, corporate liability. I like to say, if there's a rock in your shoe, stop and take it out. A hazmat program that's not living up to its ability and where it should be is that rock. And if you don't address it, it's just going to get worse. And it could really leave you open to both personal and corporate liability. So a strong corporate compliance program can really provide a company with a competitive advantage. Because if you understand what the regs are, then you can build programs around that. If you're an innovative company and you're developing new products and you're developing new ways of doing business, then those regulations aren't going to keep up with you. So you have to understand when you can usurp that. You can go out and say, hey, listen, that's how things were done. Now I'm going to ask for a special permit, an approval. I'm going to propose a new rulemaking. And you can be on the vanguard of that. You can lead your company and lead the way things are transported from your position as a CEO. You can say, listen, I understand that there is a baseline regulation that we have to follow, and we need to follow it. But if we want to do things better because we are an innovative company and we are creating our own way forward, then you can lead that and say, listen, we need to get an approval, a special permit from the US DOT because the way we do it is better. It is safer. It is more efficient. It is more effective. And so you can use your understanding of a compliance program to lead the industry. As former director of special permits and approvals within the US DOT, we used to see this all the time. Companies who really understood their role and had a very strong compliance program were constantly coming in and saying, we have a new way of doing business. And it's going to take a little bit of time, but we're going to show you that this is a better way. It's safer. Your baseline is an equivalent level of safety, but don't shoot for that. Shoot for even a higher level of safety. And DOT will love that. They have specialists involved in innovation, and they want to see it. Regardless of what administration is in the White House, innovation is something that, as an American industry, we pride ourselves on, and we want to promote that. And so understanding, for a CEO to understand that there is a regulatory construct that you have to operate within because, of course, the civil or company liability, and you want to make sure that all of your employees are safe and that the general public is safe, that these things are moving. But understanding and having a strong compliance program, that can also mean, oh, wait, I understand what the restrictions are, and I know that the way we do business is different. And so we're going to go ahead and lead this industry. We're going to change the way things are done. Some of these regulations in the hazardous materials regs were drafted in the 1960s or 70s. Things like innovation in metallurgy or manufacturing has absolutely changed the way packages are made or things are transported. In fact, if you can think about even in the 1990s, where a lot of these regulations, the packaging regulations were developed, the things that we're transporting now, we don't even think of in the 1990s. And so it's incumbent on leaders in organizations to come forward and say, hey, listen, the regs, they're fine, but they were not written with my product in mind. My product is completely new. It's completely innovative. So we just need to go and tell our story to DOT and say, hey, listen, we're going to need a waiver from the regulations because what we do is different. What we do is innovative, and it is safer than what you're considering in your regulations that may have been written 20, 30 or more years ago.